Hey traders, John Howell here. Hope you guys are doing well. In this video, we're going to be talking about the indices. We're going to look at we're going to be looking at silver and gold and what's happening with the overall markets right now. Silver and gold indices, and a bit of a talk about the last few days in the market. So let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video. Trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There is no guarantees of making money in the markets, and trading is the most hardest thing you will ever do, and it takes a long time to become a good trader. So this video is just educational only. If you're struggling with your trading right now, then click on the very first link in the description and get learn a free training, the 7 universal laws to become a master trader that will boost your success, consistency, and confidence without spending a decade trying to figure it out. Click on the very first link in the description right now. Alright, so let's get straight into the markets right now. We're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average chart, the Dow Jones 30, looking at the last couple of months here. And as we can see, we had a nice little rundown. And I wonder why it actually found support where it did right now and rallied right back up. I believe we're getting ready to have a nice big shoot back to the high side. And I believe we're getting ready for that. I don't believe this is the top in the markets. I believe we're getting ready for a lot more. I believe we're going to make another new high by the end of this year. But if the market's going to crash, it's probably going to likely crash the second half of the year. But we'll see what happens through there. Now, when we're looking at the markets, one thing that's really important, one thing I was talking about in yesterday's video, is I was talking about how it's so important to look at the longer term time frame charts and the weekly charts. So let's go to a blank open highlight close charts. Let's bring up the weekly chart, and I started drawing some trend lines. And as you can see, I started drawing basically this trend line here, which was this one right here. And as you can see, this was the weekly trend line that I drew on the Dow Jones. So as you can see that we had this, and this is really, we remove our emotions from the charts and then go back into the markets, or look at the charts without the emotion. So you see that low through there? See that low through there? If we did break down through here, then we know this is going to be a significant support. We can see we actually had that point through there. It bounced off through there. Look where it bounced off, right off there. So if we go back to that daily chart here for a minute, you actually can see, bam, it came almost down to it and then found support. This is just the way the markets work, right? We'll see these long-term support levels come into play. So if you're not checking your long-term time frame, such as the weekly charts, you're missing out on the much larger picture of what's happening. Same for the Nasdaq. Look at this here. Nasdaq came right down to that support level. Now, what was that support level? Let's go back to that weekly chart. That's what this support level was right here. Support, all this support through here. Look where it came down, bounced off that support. These long-term support levels here are in place. So make sure you keep an eye on those long-term levels. And as you can see, the market clearly bounced really nicely off that level there today. And the same for the S&P 500. Where we had, once again, that big weekly upward trend line support. Look where it came right down to that support level, and then wham, the buyers came right back in, and we started having a nice little rally back to the high side. As you can see, the move. This is obviously, I'm just looking at the time frame chart. So what I see for moving forward, guys, is that once again, just looking at this long-term chart through here, high lows. It's just a bit of a pullback. I expect to see this market continuing up and continue rallying up, moving forward there. Obviously, we're going to keep taking one day by day, but that's what I'm looking at there. Now moving on to silver and gold. Let's go have a look at what's happening with silver and gold overall. So let's go have a look at we'll go look at the gold silver price first. The line in the sand for me when it comes to the silver price. Now obviously silver's had a little bit of a backing day today, but as you can see, it's really this level through here that you want to keep an eye on for. And really when it comes down to, let's go back to that daily chart here for a minute. It's had a little support where we are right now, but this is where you really want to draw your Fibonacci levels from that low to high. And you basically want to see this market hold this level through here and this level through here. This is the 52, and interesting, you see that level through there, right? This is the 50 to 60% level, support level there. And if the market does hold here, then we're likely to rally up to new highs. So looking on this weekly chart, it'll be really interesting. If we start to break below that, then we probably can make a new low below this 1550 and keep dropping down through there. Looking onto the gold chart, what's happening with the gold chart? Again, nothing really major happening on the gold chart. Just a little rally up and just a little pullback. Look at this weekly chart once again. Go back to the daily chart. Look at this here. We've now have an equal low through here. But once again, let's bring up our Fibonacci tool. Go from low to high. And as you can see, this is where, and we have significant support levels here. Let me just go back here. So we have significant support levels all through this, especially that level through there. So even if it does pull back through there, we're likely to continue up. And once again, looking on that weekly chart there, that weekly, especially that level through there, which is basically mid-range of that 50 to 60%, or I would call it a band. So if probably from that to there is a whole area of support where the market is likely to find support if gold does get down to there. Let's go back to this chart here. And now as you can see that if the market does continue down, we're likely to find a major support through here. And the biggest thing you want to keep an eye on for, guys, is and if we take everything off the screen here once again, the market had a big run up and now it's having just a couple of week pullback here. But noticing, okay, if I said to you right now, looking at this gold chart, let me take everything off the screen here for a minute, just looking at this gold chart, and I said if we looked at the strengthened moves, meaning like how strong these moves were, where you had a buying leg, and a buying leg, all right? And now we had a bit of a short-term sort of pullback through here. And then we had, let's change this color here to red. And we had a selling leg, and this is now a selling leg. If you had to say out of all these legs in this past 2 months, who would you say is more stronger in the markets right now in gold by looking at this chart? We're looking at the legs, the buying legs. Is it are we getting a lot more? Is there a lot more strength in moves in the buying legs or the selling legs? Right now, there's a lot more strength in the buying legs, isn't there? So that tells me there's a lot more strength in the buying side than there is the selling side. So again, right now we're seeing this low, higher low, and now we've actually made a bit of a slight lower low. So I'm not sure what that's about, but this could be a bit of a resting phase, but that's not the most important part when you're looking at there. The most important part is by going back to this weekly chart and identifying, once again, just by looking at these low, higher low. Here we have a low through there, but there's a low through there. Market runs down through there and makes a higher low. Runs up, makes a slight higher high. So as you can see, buyers are majorly in control.